Sin más dilación, como ya veo que todos les esperamos con muchas ganas, tenemos una mesa redonda espectacular. La verdad que el programa de hoy está siendo muy completo, muy entretenido, muy didáctico, nos está siendo de mucha utilidad y hoy ahora tenemos uno de los platos fuertes que es el Getting Founded, el conseguir dinero, ¿no? Hay varios inversores que nos van a contar cómo conseguir esto tan difícil de conseguir dinero para nuestra startup, para nuestra compañía. Paso a dar paso a los siguientes ponentes. En primer lugar, Iñaki Arrola, fundador de coches.com y fundador también de las entidades de inversión Vitaminak y K-Fund. Muchas gracias, Iñaki, por acompañarnos. Por ahí viene Iñaki. También va a estar con nosotros Benjamin Rohé, que es emprendedor en serie, inversor y director del German Tech Entrepreneurship Center. Muchas gracias, Benjamin. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal, Iñaki? Muchas gracias, Benjamin, por acompañarnos. Thank you for coming today. A continuación, Bruno Fernández, que es consejero delegado de ENISA, esta entidad que nos está ayudando a conseguir financiación para nuestras compañías. Muchas gracias, Bruno, por venir. Un placer verte. A continuación, nos acompaña también en esta fantástica mesa redonda Lorenzo Franchini. Lorenzo, thanks for coming. Welcome, Lorenzo. Lorenzo es Senior Advisor in LVenture Group, que es una entidad de capital riesgo. Después, como contertulio, también tenemos a Joaquín Rebuelta, director de inversión de Kibo Ventures. Joaquín, encantado. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Thanks for coming. Y para moderar esta mesa redonda tan potente, tan interesante, tenemos a Yolanda Pérez, que es directora de BStartup Sabadell, del Banco de Sabadell. Una iniciativa que, de verdad, quien no la conozca, le invito a que entre en BStartup Sabadell, porque es una iniciativa de apoyo al emprendedor, de apoyo real. La verdad que la labor que están haciendo en el Banco de Sabadell en apoyo al emprendedor es real, es sincera. Antes hablaban del tema de la financiación de los bancos para los emprendedores y Sabadell está trabajando muy bien en esta línea, así que les invito a que conozcan esta iniciativa. Yolanda nos hablará un poquito de ella a continuación. Muchas gracias a todos y disfruten.
Necesitamos dos sillas más. Okay, good afternoon to everybody. We need 2 more chairs for all the speakers. Sorry for that, just a moment. Okay, chairs are coming, so welcome to everybody and thank you for being here. I'm Yolanda Pérez, I'm the director of BStartup of Banco Sabadell. In Sabadell, we provide startups with financial products, with a specific risk analysis, and also with equity funding in early stages. It's our aim to give support to not only to entrepreneurs but to all the Spanish entrepreneurial ecosystem, and that's why we are strongly support the celebration of this South Summit. Of course, we are one of their 4 main partners. So it's a great pleasure for me to chair this interesting roundtable in such an interesting issue, or such an important issue as the fundraising process. Here with us today are very experienced representatives of all the different stages that a startup has to tackle in order to get finance. Well, I think they have been already introduced. Before starting, let me say that in my experience giving support to entrepreneurs, I have found that usually entrepreneurs are not very familiar with the motivations of those people providing finance to startups. I think that this is important, not to be familiar with them, not only with the motivations, but also with the limitations they have. This lack of understanding makes it harder to get this finance, and also to figure out a growth strategy or even to convince an investor with their proposal. I think this is very important. That's why I will suggest you to all the speakers to help the audience, to help the entrepreneurs to put themselves in your shoes. Giving all the information as possible. Not only the characteristics of your investments, the type of companies that you are looking for, the market, the size of the market, the characteristics of the entrepreneurial team, etc., but also about the return you are expecting. How do you forecast this return? What do you focus on regarding this return, etc.? So I will ask you to be the most specific as possible, to put some examples. I'm sure that this information will be very useful to all the startups looking for finance. Okay, let's start then. Sorry. Benjamin has a long story as an investor, as an angel investor. He's an expert on funding, but now he's managing a public institution in Germany that provides advice to entrepreneurs. So, regarding all your experience, I will ask you to make a general view of this process of getting finance. Because I also think that entrepreneurs are very focused on the very next moment of getting funding, and they don't usually see the whole roadmap of the funding process, and this also have some consequences on the future. So I will ask you to make an explanation, about all the process and the advice you give to German entrepreneurs.
Sure. So, first of all, when I started my first company, I was 17 and I did it without any funding. So, raising money for a company was something new for me just later in the process. And over the time, I mean, I've been involved in sort of all stages where you raise money from private investors, institutional investors, all the way from the public market with a company that goes public. And the institution that I'm running right now is not a public institution, it's a privately financed at a private business school institution, but it's open for anyone out there, educating not only entrepreneurs, but also potential angel investors on how to invest into startups. And what I found many times looking at the startups, so for me, from the investment perspective, working as a business angel and working as a VC in a venture capital fund was a completely different perspective. So that's why I'm not a partner in a venture capital fund anymore, because I really like to work close with the entrepreneurs. And I think it's two different kind of sources of funding for entrepreneurs. And in particular in the case when entrepreneurs raise money from venture capital funds, they look at venture capital funds really as a black box. They never really look behind what's happening in a venture capital fund, how it is structured. They look at me with really big eyes when you explain them that you can do due diligence on your potential investor as well, that you can do reference calls, call entrepreneurs that they worked with in the past to really understand also what are their goals, what they want to achieve with the investments that they do. And that would take a lot of hassle out of the process already for a lot of entrepreneurs, because they're just trying to reach out to as many as possible venture capital funds, but maybe not just only the right ones. And I think it's really, in venture capital, I would say it's a completely different kind of investment class as when you raise money from business angels, and that's really something important for entrepreneurs to understand, that both sides have different goals when they invest in your company. So I think that's something a lot of understanding for entrepreneurs needs to happen more in the market. We just did some months ago an open office hours where a venture capital fund partner told the startups what they should look for when they want to raise money. So he didn't look for startups to invest into, but he rather explained the startups what they should look out for when they want to talk to venture capital funds. because there's a real big information gap between the both sides. And that's part of what we're focusing on with the GTech, educating entrepreneurs to become faster, more successful, and start better companies. So this is just a fraction of the whole educational part that we do.
Okay, thank you. In the in the funding process, public loans or public instruments have also a very important role. So we have with us Bruno Fernández Scrimeri, who belongs to the body of commercial technicians and state economists. Before that, among other positions, he was director of the fashion, habitat and cultural industry in ICEX, as well as economic and commercial counselor in the Economic and Commercial Bureau of Spain in Casablanca. Bruno, can you explain how ENISA is involved in startup funding and give us some tips on how to get this funding, please?
Well, I'd like first of all to share my satisfaction for being here today with such a crowded audience. And the first message I would like to send is that we have the funding, the financial instruments that you guys need for starting any project. That's a good news. You have to take into account the different instruments that we, both from the private sector and we from the public sector, have to create and to grow any project you have in mind. So I'd like to send this first message, which I think is the most important message for you. We have these financial instruments, and please do not hesitate to contact us or any other private institutions, because we can help you start your new project. What we do from ENISA, from the public sector, is quite simple. We try to be the financial boost for small and medium enterprises. And within this category of small enterprises, we have a very specific instrument for startups. We give loans. We give a participative loan. That means that it is not equity. We don't want to manage your company. We don't have the intention to enter or to interfere with your decision-making process. What we try to do is to give you money, and with this money you have to create and to run your business. This participative loan has three main characteristics. First of all, it's a long-term debt. Average 10 years with a 3-year period of grace. You don't have to pay the principal, just the interest, but it's a long-term debt. So it helps to create a room for maneuver, so it can help you to concentrate on the business and forget about the financial problem. Second characteristic, the interest rate. We want to participate, and this is why we call the participative loan. We want to participate in the success of the program, of the project. That means that if the project does not, in the first years, create the value or the returns or the profit, we don't get the variable interest rate. We have a fixed interest rate, which is fixed, notwithstanding the evolution of the company. And depending on the financial returns of the company, we can charge an additional interest rate. But only if the company has profits, and then we take part of these profits and we participate of this success. Third characteristic, we don't ask for any asset as collateral. We just analyze your project, we just analyze the team, we give a lot of importance to the team, we analyze some qualitative variables, some quantitative figures, and if we consider that the project is viable both from a technical and an economic point of view, we give the financing. But no assets are required as a collateral, so it's you and your team and your project which helps us to create or to understand and to give you the financing. So these three characteristics we consider that are very important, and we can fix, or we can cover these financing needs of these startups. Sectors, we cover all sectors of activity. There are just two sectors which are out of our financing instruments, the building sector and the financial sector. But all the activities, all the sectors are under the goals of our company. And in fact, we have about 3,400 projects of every sector, industrial sectors, of course, the communication and telecommunication process sectors, apps, etc. And these 3,400 projects are a good example of what we do and how we do. The loans between 25,000 euros to 1.5 million euros. We try to cover the whole life of the project. So we have a first loan for these startups who are starting, and they are starting the project, and we have a special instrument, which is the entrepreneur loan from 25,000 to 300,000 euros, and we want to help create the conditions for growing and consolidating the project. Once this project has consolidated, this enterprise can come to us and ask for another loan, so we can we can offer these financial instruments for continuing growing along the life of the firm. And we are, as I think I've said it before, we are a state-owned company, but please do not think or do not see us as a rigid or inflexible institution. We try to be as flexible as possible. We want to understand your business model. We want to know you, the team who is behind the project, and we try to keep a fluid interaction with startups in order to understand their business model, which is not easy. Sometimes the business models are a little bit difficult, but we do an effort to understand what they are proposing, and we try to adapt our instruments to their needs. So I think from the public institution, from the public sector, there is an answer for their financing needs, and that's basically what we are doing.
Thank you, Bruno. Okay, then, after the soft loans that you are providing, let's move to the equity investment now. After family, friends, and fools, startups turn to business angels normally. We have here with us mainly two very active business angels, Iñaki and Lorenzo. So I will introduce themselves. They will speak later on from a VC perspective, but now they are going to speak from a business angel perspective, okay? So, well, Iñaki Arrola, he is the founder and CEO of Coches.com. His experience in internet dates back to 2003, and he founded several projects until in 2012 he founded Vitaminak, a VC firm investing in early stage technology companies. Previously, Iñaki worked in the financial sector also, and he holds a bachelor degree in business administration and an MBA from EA Business School, where he now teaches. Iñaki is also a business angel and has invested in companies like Master Branch, Vodafone, Webphone, Sindelantal, for example. He is now upping the game with a new VC firm, K Fund. But as I told you before, now he's going to speak as a business angel, and I will ask you to give us an overall vision of what a business angel looks for, and how do you see the relationship with the entrepreneur, etc.
Thank you, Yolanda, for allowing me sharing this table or whatever we have around. What I was thinking is that probably with the exception of ENISA, what we are here is because we want to earn money investing on companies, which sometimes is kind of tricky to say, but that's what we want to do. We want to earn money investing on companies. After that, we can say how we do that and what are our differential points, or on what moment we do that. But an investor wants to earn money. That's it. So now I will say how. As you know, a business angel is someone or something that thinks that he or she knows about something, and the fact is that we don't know about anything, and the entrepreneurs do. This is a friend of mine called it an expensive hobby. Someone who thinks that he's wise and he's more fool than friends, fools, and family. So what we supposedly do is that we help companies investing money and helping with other things more than money, because we are on the moment, we are on the business, or we are on the place where the company is moving. So that's the only difference with a friend, fools, and family, that we are supposed to know about something. And I've done all the way. I've been an entrepreneur, I've been a business angel, and now we have a big fund, a big internet fund in Spain. And what I've always done and what I've always wanted to have is an investor that helps me. And this is something important that I think that if you're willing to raise money, that you should look for. It's not only about money. If you can find someone that helps you and does not ask for anything else because he's helping you, that is what I think you should try to do, and that's what we do.
The other business angel is Lorenzo Franchini. He is an experienced angel investor and entrepreneur in the investment arena, founder of the Scale T Capital and senior advisor at LVenture Group. Lorenzo has invested in more than 20 startups all around Europe, or internationally even. In 2007, he co-founded the angel group Italian Angels for Growth and managed the group till 2014. Previously, he was marketing VP at gialloviaggi.it. Can you explain us your vision about the business angel purposes regarding the investments, etc.?
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. And the business angel is a big word. I mean, there are really very different type of people that an entrepreneur can meet. So probably the first thing for an entrepreneur is trying to understand the person that he's got in front of. There are different type of motivations. There are angels that invest to enjoy themselves. There are angels that invest to give back. There are angels that invest to help to build something from a dream to a company that is giving job to thousands of people. So the advice that I give to entrepreneurs is try to understand the person that you have in front. The relationship, it's very personal. So you have to get along with well with the person. You have to like each other, because at the end of the story you're going to spend time together. And but at the end of the story, as he was saying, angel investors look to make money, and sooner or later they would like to make money and to have the money back. The difference with the fund has got certain time of money, time that they have to give money back to investors. Then business angel doesn't have to do this, but sooner or later it will like to have the money back. And then any type of person is looking for different things. I personally look for solutions, simple solutions to big pains. Simplicity is very important. When I see something that is very complicated, when the product market link, it's really complex, it's a pass for me. Because doing a startup is so difficult, there are so many problems, and if a business is too complex, or you talk to your customers, it's too complex, it's going to be more and more complicated. And then you wanna invest in something that can reach a big market. So as we were saying before, not all the ventures, all the companies need to have this kind of money. You can develop your own company, sell a product, and then finance the company itself with the money you're making selling the product. And you don't need to raise money from institutional investors or professional investors that want you to have a certain pace in developing the company. And they are stressing you out a lot, especially institutional investors. So I think for an entrepreneur, a good advice is look at yourself, look at what you want to build up. Is it something that you can build by yourself without the need to have this kind of money? and probably it's better to avoid this kind of money. If instead you need a lot of investments to build a product, to go to the market, you have to be sure that you are building something for a big market, that you can scale. I think another thing that everyone is looking at, are you able to execute? I think in most of the business where we look at and invest at, first is people and then is execution. So the ability in the team to be able to develop a product, bring the product to the market and scale it, possibly internationally, is very important. So also in terms of team, some entrepreneurs are starting doing things like raising money too early. Because before raising money, before convincing someone to invest in your company, the first thing you should do is to convince the best people to join the team and to build a team that has got the technical competence, the marketing sales competence, the general management, the finance side. So the first task is, let's try to build a great team with complementary skills. Then you raise money.
Interesting insights, thank you. Iñaki, where do you find your deal flow? Where did you find the startups you have funded, and how was the process of the decision to be an investor of these startups?
I always say that we find our best deal flow from other co-founders, from other founders of the companies we have invested on, and we have never invested on a company that has pitched in an investor place, and I know that I'm speaking at the South Summit, but the fact is that regularly the best investments come from people connected to you by any means. And what we look is that, as I told you before, I think that business angels, with some exceptions, of course, but we are not that wise as you people think. But and I think this happens also with investors. So what we look at is certain things that are too normal. I could give you some examples, and it would be really funny to understand how we invest. But the fact is that even though you analyze a lot of things, you need to rely on somebody that is going to take care for your money, and that everything is going to change when you give him the money, him or her. The fact is that we investors always tend to say that what has happened is going to happen with our money on a bigger basis, and the fact is everything is going to change. So we can analyze a lot of things, but we need to look at people and to understand that they can make it, and we want to help them on the way, because as they said before, this is really difficult, and the fact is that we think we can help.
Okay. After the insights of the business angels, let's have the different explanations of the three VCs that we have here today. That's Iñaki again, Lorenzo, and Joaquín. Okay. Joaquín Rebuelta has more than 7 years of experience with leading global firms in London and Madrid. He starts his career at Lehman Brothers in 2007 within the tech and media team. In 2009, he joined Mediobanca merger and acquisitions team, where he covered corporate finance transactions in Spain and Latam. In the media and tech sector, he worked in transactions involving the leading companies in Spain. And finally, he joined Kibo Ventures in 2014. I will ask you to explain the characteristics of your investment activity and how a startup can be funded by you, by Kibo, by Vitaminak or Venture. And remember that we are going to help the audience to put themselves in investors' shoes. So please be the most specific as possible. Okay.
Thank you for the organization to have the opportunity to be here. I would say that as Iñaki said, we are here to win money in our investment. That's the most important part when you're looking for companies. when we are looking for companies as a VC, we are looking always for best teams with the best ideas, no? And also, and that means that the team needs to be able to propose and to have the idea and to execute it, and also the idea needs to be, and the idea. Hello. Yeah, the idea needs to be achievable and needs to be able to escalate it. No, that's the most important thing. In terms of being more concrete for all of you, how valuations work in the VC industry, and I mean it could be longer, but to be quite short, it's like a back of the envelope valuation. So imagine you want to raise 2 million and your pre-money valuation is 6. And you are like in an early stage. If you like the people how would look at your proposal is like, okay, if this company is going to have like a 30% dilution in next rounds in next years, and you need to make out of this investment 3 to 5 times, this means that the business needs to be in 5 years, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 million, whatever. And then you will start asking yourself questions about how you can, I mean, is this idea going to be a 40 million idea or not? And in order to analyze that, there are many factors that there would be, like the market size, which are your competitors, who can acquire you at some point. I mean, and if you are going to be able to execute it, no, the idea.
Explain us a little more about Kibo, the sectors that you are investing, the size of the companies, this kind.
Yeah, I mean, Kibo is a first-time fund that was launched in 2012. So far, with a 43 million fund, so far we have invested in 31 companies. We have done like 3 exits. We have a lot of co-investments with Iñaki, for example, with Vitaminak. And I mean, we look for the best Spanish entrepreneurs. All of them, I mean, you don't need to be based in Spain, but normally, because for BC, the most important thing is what the deal flow is, that you get the best opportunities to invest in. No? That's why Iñaki explained before with the idea that you know, like all the network you have will bring you the best ideas. No.
Go on.
No. Now? Yeah, now it's working. Sorry. I would say that for looking for finance in Spain or for your ventures, I also agree with what said Lorenzo before, that not all companies need a VC backing them. Only if you want to build a really company, it would work.
Thank you. Thank you. Lorenzo, can you explain us about LVenture group activity, the type of companies you are investing? Also, if you are investing in companies from abroad, Italy, and how do you see the Spanish market?
Sure. LVenture group, it's a particular beast in the sense that the holding company is listed on the Milan Stock Exchange, so it's one of the few venture capital investor listed in the public market. It's raising money from the public market, and then it's investing in startups in 2 ways. The first way through an accelerator called LVenture, based in Rome. It's one of the main accelerator programs in Italy. It's doing all the digital space and software. And basically there we invest in a team and a prototype, alpha or beta of a product. So there what we see are people, generally also very young people, with an idea and a sort of a working prototype to satisfy this idea. We try to evaluate if we think that the product will work first and then that we'll be able to find a market. If the team will be able to execute. And during the 5 months of the acceleration program, we bring the teams from the prototype to selling to customers. And then they go out on the market. And then on the other side, the holding company is also investing outside in other companies not accelerated by the acceleration program, more or less at the same stage of the companies when they get out of the program. So you have to have a certain traction on the market. You have to have some metrics to be invested. We invest overall between 250, 30, 300K per company. And what we are seeing here in Italy, and I think probably Spain is similar, we are starting entrepreneurs and investors from the market which is not a main market. And now the market internationally is really globalizing, and resources are going into certain places. Here in Europe, Berlin and London are playing a major role in attracting resources. So as we view the thing from Italy, and I guess maybe from Spain is the same, you start up a company, you prove that there is a product market fit, you start selling to the local customers, but then you don't spend too much time selling only locally, and you go internationally very quickly. So the process is to, you spend another 6 months in Italy and then you go abroad. And you might decide to move to Berlin, to London, to New York, San Francisco, then it depends on the kind of business. But it's very important, and it's changing very quickly. I mean, a few years ago, you could see companies stay in the local market for 3-4 years. Now it cannot be anymore. The only reason is that it's the time of acquisition of an innovative product. A customer in Italy and probably in Spain takes a certain amount of time to buy an innovative product. The same customer or different customer in Germany, in England and in the US, the amount of time is reduced sometimes by 10 times. So think about the time you are wasting trying to sell to a local customer when you can sell to an international customers. So if you have a product that is really able to compete internationally, you have to go international very, very early. And this is what we are doing. We are pushing companies to serve international customers as soon as possible. And at the moment, we are honestly investing only in Italian companies, but I guess when the process going internationally will be also to look at international companies. I don't see any more local market for all the south of Europe, Eastern Europe. There are no opportunities, global opportunities, stay in the local market. Okay. Sorry, I'm very extreme, but this is how I see the market going.
No, you're right. Thank you. Iñaki, the floor is yours. Explain us a little about this now fund, this new fund, K Fund. What are you looking for? And
well, what we've learned on Vitamin K, which is a small fund, mainly risen with our own money, only 5 million fund that invested on seed companies, and that we are doing nicely with companies such as CartaDB, 8Fit, Blinkfire. Well, we have a nice portfolio actually. Some are dead, of course, and we have invested on some companies with Kibo Ventures, who eventually were our big brothers. We called them when we needed a big round, and they called us when they needed a small brother. And what we've learned on Vitamin K is that we want to help businesses as Kibo Ventures does. And what I said before, that for me is really important if you want to raise money. And this is what we're going to do with a larger fund. It's a 50 million fund. It's going to invest on the same type of companies. We will love to co-invest with Kibo, but we will be big guys if we need to be big guys also. And we are going to invest on people with big markets, vision, values. For us, it's really important to invest on people with values in life. I think we all investors really look for that. because you're going to have like a couple, a husband, a wife, or whatever you're going to have with your portfolio companies. And also we want to look a lot to design on companies. Especially in Spain, we feel that design is not important for lots of companies, and we have a lack of faith on design. Design is not only designing a nice logo and having a nice UX. It's a lot more things. It's how the company should work on all the bases. And this is what we're going to do, and we want to help companies, and that's about it.
Fantastic. I will ask you one question to each of you. I would like you to explain us a successful story, an investment that you are especially proud of, and why. It doesn't have to do with exits, of course, but why are you proud of this investment, or with a success story of ENISA also? I don't know, who wants to start?
May I start? Well, I would say that, as I've said before, we have more than 3,400 projects, and I would like to highlight all of them. For us, they all are a success experience. Today we've seen, and we have heard Madame Shotwell, the CEO of SpaceX, and she has shown a video with a rocket crashing. And the American view was that story was a success because of the failure, they are going to improve the project, and in the second round they will succeed, and they will have these rockets landing in a little platform. Here in Europe, we saw that experience as a failure. So we have to change our mind. Of course, we all want to succeed, that's normal, but we have to take some experiences of the failures. So we are a public company, and for us, these more than 3,400 projects are a success story, because I'm sure that all of them, either they have succeeded or not, they will have had a positive experience of our financial support.
Next one.
Is it working? Okay. I want to tell the story of this company, that it's started from Bologna. It's called Spreaker, and I guess the CEO is around here today. And they started from Bologna, then they moved to Silicon Valley and went to San Francisco. They didn't get from the front door. They found very hard to raise money there. Generally, when you go to California, it takes you a certain amount of months to understand how the ecosystem is there. Most of the times you finish your money when you have understood how the system is there, you have to go back. And this is what happened to them. Basically, the company does podcasting of audio content through the different social networks. Started to broadcast yourself and doing like radio programs, and then turning from radio to really broadcasting audio. And they came back from US. They didn't get money, but they got a partnership with Clear Channel, now become Higher Art Radio. Then they moved to Berlin, you know them. And all the team that was in different parts of Italy moved to Berlin. And then they went back to Italy, and now part of the company is in New York, and part of the company is in Italy. Now they have an audience of 5 million users. They are into this very hot market, but it's a market that is still there, growing, the market of podcasting. It's a story of a company that have been able to go through different cycles in terms of product, in terms of geographical expansion, and has always found a way to find the best way. This is basically how it's going to be the life of an entrepreneur when he does a startup. You don't know when you start where you're going. You know that you want to do something, and then you have to find along the way the different tracks that you follow.
Benjamin.
Hello, hello, perfect. So I think as a business angel, you would look at your portfolio of the companies you invest in as you would look at your children, and you would never have one favorite child. So I think the whole portfolio as a whole matters. And as I mentioned this morning before at the investors discussion where we talked about multiples, investments, so in each of these companies I've invested between 50 to 200,000 euros, and I'm doing this since 8 years. It's been 16 companies, and I realized already 3.4 times of the money that I invested in the companies. And so I would never pick one of them, because many times just one investment that didn't work out lead to another investment that worked out because these guys started something new, or they brought me a deal that I wouldn't have gotten before because I didn't know these guys. So I think for me it matters really to look at it as a whole.
I want to speak about a company that it was one of our first investment. It's called Daxboard, and it was led by Diego Mariño. I like in particular this story because this company was facing some problems back in 2014, and the investors decided to back again with new money. That for a VC, one of the most difficult situations is when you decide not to. I mean, the company maybe is not going with the growth that you expect, and it's running short of money, and it was hard for all the investors to believe again, but they finally did, and it was I'm really happy of this one, because the team proved correct, and like in less than 1 year, New Relic, that is one of the biggest SaaS company in America and the US, they acquired a Daxboard, and they took the team that. By the way, Daxboard, they do like beautiful dashboards for companies. So this one, the New Relic acquired because they thought that the product was amazing, and they got the talent. So all the team is now working in Portland, and with integrated with a very, very good company that is New Relic, that it was a startup back in the days. And I like it because it proved that you can do amazing things with this European or Spanish talent, and that then the biggest companies in the world can come here to acquire companies. And the end of the story is that the New Relic went public last December, and the shares rose at 50% the first day of trading. So all the entrepreneurs and on the VCs did a really good return on it. So it's a very happy story.
Thank you. Iñaki.
What I always say is that we like to be thankful with all the people we have invested on. I think that as probably on your side, if you're going to raise money, you're looking to us as sharks, but people that. But something common is that we are not speaking about our nice kids, but especially about all, and especially about the ones that didn't have a nice movement, because we are thankful with them. We always say that we investors may have money, but we need you guys to invest on, and to have an example. I'm not going to say the name, but today one of our portfolio companies is closing today, and these guys have tried it all, and it has not worked, and I've seen them having bad times, and we are really thankful for them. You will know in some days, but the fact is that we prefer to sign all these bad moments and not the good ones that will eventually make us earn money. Sorry for that.
Thank you for your insight. I think we should be wrapping up now, but before that, I think that we should attend some questions from the audience, a couple of questions. Do you have any questions? No? Yeah.
Hello? So my question is, how important is location when it comes to raising money? Because we are in London at the moment, but the founders, we are from Spain, so we are considering moving down to Spain. But we don't know if that may hurt, our opportunities to raise money in the future. Thank you.
Hello. This one. Now, yeah. I always say that if you are the best one at your class, you will raise money from wherever. And we had some examples on our portfolio companies. People, we share an investment with Kibo Ventures, which is CartoDB. They just raised money from Accel and Salesforce Ventures, and they're based in Madrid with an office in New York. We can see that if you're in Madrid, that Madrid was eventually a horrible place to raise money. If you are the best, you will raise money from the best. So.
Any other question? Oops. No more questions? Okay, then time is up. We have to hand over to the next round table. A big thank you to all of you, and especially to the speakers. Thank you very much.
Please, 1 second, don't move. No me resisto, teniendo aquí a unos cuantos inversores, gente con dinero de distintas fuentes, de distintas naturalezas, no me resisto a sacar a un par de ustedes que quieran, que estén buscando financiación, un par de voluntarios. Aquí tenemos el primero, un segundo voluntario que quiera solamente con un minutito, tenemos un segundo voluntario, si eres tan amable de salir, y contarle en un único minutito, venderle tu idea, no contarle, venderle tu idea a estos inversores para intentar captar fondos de ellos. Adelante, ¿cuál es tu nombre?
José.
¿Perdón, un micrófono? Sí. José, ¿y tu proyecto, José?
José, de todas formas, ha dicho que nunca ha invertido en una empresa que le haya hecho un pitch en un evento como este.
Bueno, tenemos uno
Pero...
Bueno, a Iñaki después se le puede convencer.
Vale. Bueno, somos trajesamedida.com, somos la sastrería online más personalizable del mundo. El año pasado facturamos... ¿En inglés o español? Bueno, el año pasado facturamos 22.000 euros, este año ya hemos triplicado, estamos haciendo 7.000 euros al mes, tenemos un equipo muy bueno. Hacemos los trajes y las camisas en la India porque estuvimos trabajando allí. El equipo es un ex-Indra, 7 años de experiencia como ingeniero de software. Estoy yo, 4 años de experiencia en PwC Deals. Tenemos también una persona con 25 años de experiencia en la India que lleva toda la parte de producción y una persona de desarrollo de negocio. Y bueno, estamos buscando 75.000 euros para seguir creciendo.
¿Alguna pregunta de los inversores? ¿No? Muy bien, pues muchas gracias. Siguiente. Ahí. Un aplauso para él.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Mario Mas. Yo soy CEO de Guayo Technology. Es una empresa basada aquí en Barcelona. Hacemos estos dispositivos GPS, el dispositivo GPS más pequeño del mundo en este momento, y vamos a sacar una versión con integración satelital para llegar a todos los espacios donde no hay cobertura móvil. La idea está combinado con una aplicación móvil también denominada Guayo, que tiene más de 800.000 descargas en este momento. La idea es abarcar todos los aspectos de la conectividad vía GPS entre personas, cosas. Y, por ejemplo, tenemos muchos ejemplos, gente que se ha perdido con Alzheimer, lo han localizado a través de nuestra aplicación en el móvil. Ahora queremos relanzar la empresa, es una versión 2.0 que, como les decía, integre la parte satelital. Nuestro CTO está ahora del otro lado, tiene toda la experiencia del mundo en programación y yo soy de la parte financiera y de dirección. Estamos tratando de buscar 1.500.000 euros de financiamiento, ya estamos en 6 mercados. Hemos colocado más de 1.000 unidades de estas de Guayo. Y para romper el maleficio, le traje un regalo aquí a los Venture Capital que se lleven la muestra. Desde el código BIDI puedes bajar la presentación nuestra. Pues muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Pues muchas gracias a todos por sus aportaciones. Ha sido tremendamente interesante. Un placer tenerlos aquí. Thank you for joining us this evening. Until the next time. Thank you so much. Bueno, y seguimos hablando de cosas interesantes y ahora, a continuación, seguimos con la red emprendedora.